It is unlikely that the war will continue until 2026. The Kremlin expects to wind down the so-called special operation this year. This was stated by retired FSB colonel and political emigrant Gennady Gudikov. According to the politician, the Russian army command and representatives of the military industry support the war and want it to continue, but the economic bloc of the Russian leadership is in favour of a speedy end to the aggression. A lot of officials don't want war. They understand that a war of attrition is beyond their capabilities. The Soviet Union overextended itself, and it was tougher than Russia. The economic bloc doesn't want war because the financial system will collapse, Gudkov said. According to him, the Kremlin is aware of the risks of prolonging the aggression and plans to curtail it in the near future. Based on what happened a few months ago, it seems that the Kremlin made a basic decision that we would not fight until 2025. After 2025, it is not safe to fight because negative trends will increase, which could ruin the entire system. Maybe something has changed now. Maybe they decided to look into 2026, but they considered 2025 to be the last year in which Putin's Russia could fight, the oppositionist said. Recently, US Institute for the Study of War, ISW, said that senior Russian security officials seem to assess that Russia needs to intensify its war against Ukraine rather than seek a negotiated exit. They are not ready to give up the war because of heavy losses. Before presenting their conclusion, the analysts recalled a new article by Medusa. It stated that Russian security officials and the Russian military may recognize that Russian troops are not achieving significant territorial success proportional to the losses in manpower and equipment they suffer during the fighting. It was said that the Russian military command has so far suffered exorbitant personnel losses in exchange for tactical, but not operationally significant successes. In turn, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's theory of victory is based on accepting such losses as long as the Russians continue to advance on Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian Armed Forces officer Serhiy Teshotsky notes the Russian forces are withdrawing troops from other areas to redeploy them to the Pokrovsk direction. He said this on the Espresso TV channel. Currently, assaults are ongoing. The Russians mostly move in cars and buggies. It has become a pattern that they use civilian Zhiguli cars of various models, noted Teshotsky. According to an armed forces officer, the Russian troops are actively using the weather conditions to move en masse, under the cover of fog or at night. However, Ukrainian defense forces detect the enemy and try to destroy them on the far outskirts. Overall, in the Pokrovsk direction, the Ukrainian defense forces are eliminating about 300 Russian occupiers daily, give or take. We can see that the invaders are not giving up on their intentions. To the southwest of Pokrovsk, the Russians are trying to deploy more forces. There is also information that the Russian army is withdrawing units from other directions, but they are not achieving the success that they had hoped for. Russians attack so often along so many axes against undermanned Ukrainian positions that some of the assaults are bound to get across the mine-infested, artillery-blasted, drone-patrolled no man's land. More and more of these assaults involve cars, trucks and vans, having lost around 15,000 armoured vehicles in their wider war on Ukraine, far more purpose-made combat vehicles than sanctions-squeezed Russian industry can replace. Russian regiments and brigades are increasingly riding into battle in civilian vehicles. Russian commanders knew the vehicle shortage was coming. This fall, some regional commands began hoarding cars, trucks and vans. The critical case has apparently come for the regiments in Luhansk. Russian forces occupy most of the oblast and are determined to capture the rest in coming months. The enemy's military command in the theatre of operations until March 2025 will try to reach the administrative borders of Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, the Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategies noted.
Голосуй.